Hey, I'm Lex.
And I'm Gibby, and welcome to another episode of Porch Swing People.
Each week we bring a guest onto the podcast to talk about whatever they want to talk about, past, present, or future. Our goal is to sit down on the digital front porch and just connect with others. We are so excited about our guest today, somebody who's been on our mind for a while because he is the spouse of former podcast guest Susan.
Oh, I love Susan. I remember Tai Chi Susan.
Yes, Gibby and I both know Susan in person from attending her Tai Chi classes whenever we can. But we also had the pleasure of learning more about her on a previous episode. And today we have her husband, Dave, joining us.
Nice. Have you met Dave?
I met Dave in passing. I was like, oh, you're Dave. Hi, I'm Lex. That's it. Yeah, let's bring Dave on.
All right, let's bring Dave on.
Right, can you hear us?
Yeah, hi.
Hey.
Hey.
Wow.
Good to see you.
Dave, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
It is an absolute pleasure to be with you. Thank you for having me aboard.
So, Dave, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? You could tell us about your service, you work with veterans now, and anything else you want to add.
Oh, well, thank you for the opportunity. Well, I started off my military career in Fort Bliss, Texas. Oh, boy, in the summertime, 109 degrees, right? Went there for air defense school to become a Stinger gunner. Left there, they sent me out of the frying pan into the jungle. They sent me to Fort Polk, Louisiana. They say the state bird is the mosquito. Yeah, a lot of bugs. I went to air assault school from there. Towards my entrance of leaving there, before they sent us to Fort Irwin, which is, I think it's what they do, National Training Center. Really an interesting place. Do a lot of tank firing there, helicopter firings, a lot of ammunition. But they sent us, exactly right. They sent us to there from Louisiana to there, and we weren't ready for they didn't have desert gear for us. They didn't have cold weather gear for us. So I ended up getting frostbitten from the knees down.
Oh my gosh.
From there, and when I was almost ready, what they call ETS, end of term of service, by the time they asked me where I was going to re-enlist, I said, no, not a chance in heck. That's not going to happen. And so from there, I met a retired colonel, and he asked me if I wanted to be a drill instructor. I said, sure, why not? It sounds pretty cool. We go ahead and do that. So from there, it was like, oh God, they sent me to what they call PLDC, which is Primary Leadership Development course. You have to have that course before you become a sergeant.
Yep.
Then they sent me to infantry school at Fort Benning, Georgia. From there, then they sent me to drill instructor school. So it was school after school after school, and all that. You do a lot of testing. So after then, they sent me to be a drill instructor for the reception. There's a lot of different layers of drill instructors that are out there. So from the reception, they sent me to a drill sergeant, what we call going on the trail, and that's going through the whole basic training with them. So it was like 9 weeks, I think we had these kids. And it was very interesting. I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed it because, you get the trained soldiers, not the hype stuff, that they see on the movies and stuff. How it goes down.
Yeah.
Some movies I've seen got close, but besides the point. But from there, I went to be a drill instructor on the trail. It was from 4:00 in the morning till 11:00 at night, 7 days a week. Except for Sundays, I got to sleep in for 2 more hours. You always have to be looking at your soldiers. And you have to have them doing missions. So they gave me an option to stay in or go out and take my disability. So I left to take my disability. But honestly, it took me almost 20 years to get my 100%. And that's because information was not being relayed. And this is before the internet or YouTube really started popping up. And started a lot of content creators. Once I got to my 100, and I have to say this, one gentleman, and I was I worked at King County Jail. I was worked for APHIS, Automated Identification Fingerprint System,
Uh-huh.
and that's when you printing and taking mug shots and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
one gentleman, he was an inmate, and he asked me, he says, "Are you a veteran?" I said, "Yes." He says, "Are you going to your doctor to keep on top of what's going on with you?" I said, "No." He says, "I recommend you do that." And this is an inmate, right?
Yeah.
From then, I started going in, documenting, going and documenting. And my doctors at the VA, I love my doctors. I know some people have horror stories, but I always say this: there's nothing going to be 100% perfect. Somebody's going to drop the ball somewhere. I tell my doctors 100%. This is what's going on. So at one point, the neuropathy hit me so bad that I had to stop going to school. I was at a tech school, and
Hmm.
if you don't get to school early, you get the parking way out in the Z lot, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and so with neuropathy, walking all over campus and that,
It's not going to work.
oh yeah, it was terrible. So I ended up losing my apartment because I had to quit my jobs. I ended up dropping out of school because I couldn't walk. But my doctor and the people at this tech school, they were very helpful to try to get me on point. What ended up happening, I ended up I'm on 9 gabapentins a day to keep the pain off. And so
Gosh.
going through all that and going through the system, I found that not only because I made this channel, the Seattle Blk Veteran, really to help veterans of color,
Hmm.
but what in the road of doing this, I found it's not just veterans of color who's not getting informed. You know, there are some people in the LGBTQ plus community that I've seen who were really beautiful people. They served, and now they were getting problems with getting assistance to get them to move, to give them the benefits they are entitled to. And to me, I get very passionate about that because you're entitled, to these benefits. Why are you people are holding them so close to their chest? It's free. Give it to them. What do they say? If I have type $10 and I gave you five, we both have five. But if I gave you my knowledge, I'm still not losing anything. I'm
Absolutely
handing you the
not.
knowledge to move forward and get yourself together. Um, so I had to start helping people because I started figuring out when I was homeless, I was at Salvation Army. Shouts out to those guys there because they were very helpful.
Hmm.
Um, I started seeing what the system is. I started seeing how it goes. So I started telling veterans, if you're homeless, go to your county office, housing office, go to your nearest work source place. I helped one person, and I was so proud that I was able to help him. He had two kids, and he's a single father. So, two kids with a single father, he says he has no gas and he's on the verge of losing his apartment. He has no food. Um, it was relayed to me from a fraternity brother that this was the problem. So I said, go to this work resource, talk to these people and explain to what's going on. And he says they gave him gas cards to put gas in his car. They gave him food to put on his table. They even set him up to a 2 bedroom apartment so he can get on his feet, but he have a place to have his kids
Yeah.
safe and warm. That's so important. One thing I say about this, when I seen people and when I was in the situation, sleeping in your car, um, you know,
Hmm.
uh, and this is right before COVID, so it really would have been rough.
Yeah.
But so this is why I help people. And some people are really out there, and some of our brothers have mental issues that are going on.
Yeah.
And I just tell people I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a paralegal. I don't work for the DAV in no capacity. I'd say I'm just giving you my story. And I want you to be motivated to go get your benefits because if your family is with you, you have two kids and those are dependents, they will help give you more money to help feed your two kids. if you're a veteran, go get 10%. I don't care. If you get 10%, you can work from there.
You have to be acknowledged. Yep.
Exactly. Right. Start putting a paper trail. Start, I'm going to see the doctor for this. I see so many people who, once they get told no once or twice, they give up.
Don't give up.
I went for 20 years. So, I said, if you can be 20 years, then you can come and talk to me. But I tell people always stay on top of it, because what happens when you have an injury, when you get older, that injury will start popping up and showing up. I'm in my 60s, cracked ribs. It's going to take how many months, And you, my brother, well,
Yep.
I mean, you're going through what you're going through. Bless your heart, brother. As we get older, you're going to need these benefits: health, dental, and what else is it? And vision. These things are going to be cost you money. And as you get older, they don't get better. So I do a YouTube channel, the Seattle Blk Veteran, and I had one just recently. And I said this for military and even not in military. If you're going to go into the military, go with an understanding of why you're going in. Do the best you can do on that ASVAB test, the entry exam.
That's important.
Right? When you score high, you get more opportunities. Don't go in the military. I was in infantry, and I'm not trying to dog infantry. But when you get out and you only have infantry skills, where are you going with that? To be a police officer, correction officer. I mean, that's how you want to move in your life. Respect. But I say AI cannot kill the electrician job right now. It cannot kill the plumbing job right now. Right?
Tech world. Yep.
Yeah. Right. So go get a skill. Get you a skill. And even if you want to be in a hospital, study. Get your job in the military that's going to put you in hospital. Pay attention to this too. While you are in the military and you're going to, say you're an electrician, go to the union and get yourself signed up with the union if you're going to be an electrician. Because when you go to some of these jobs, they want union jobs. Then go and look at this. What other skills I need to be at the top of that profession of being an electrician? Start studying while you're in the Army or in the Air Force, while you're in the Navy. Start studying for that degree while you're in there, because you want to have a plan when you get out. And you want to, like now these days, only in the government, the county, or the state can you get a 20-year retirement. There are some other businesses that may do that, but they're only giving 20-year retirements now on that level. And so if you're going to stay 20 years in the military, have an exit plan when you get out. Where do you want to live? What benefits do you have in certain states? No taxes on your home, no taxes on your vehicle. Pay attention to those things. Look on your website and type your state up and say, what benefits do veterans can they receive?
Being an advocate for yourself is one of the big things you're talking about here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you don't have to know how to read every book, but you can understand if this is happening to you, and you can go, Because when I've seen some guy says, you know what, do this combined with this 30%, and then they gave me 100% for depression disorder. He says you can get your 100%. So my doctors were very helpful with that. My primary care doctors, and if you don't have a doctor at the VA, make sure your doctor that you have can give you a nexus letter saying, yeah, this is the problem and this is problem occurred because of this. And go and get it, like we say, the burn pits. People are having heart issues, breathing issues, right?
It's a huge issue. Yeah.
Yeah. And I try to tell brothers, stop being a hardhead, a knucklehead. I'm a ranger or I'm special forces. I don't know, dude. Your job now is you're out of the military, but this is your company. Your family is your company, and you're in charge. You got to make sure everything keeps running smooth for your family, whether you're here or whether you pass on. You have to make sure that you're looking out for you and your family. And just because you get told no, do not stop.
Wow. So Dave, I'm so impressed. You've hit on so many topics on what you cover with your YouTube channel, starting from the get-go before people even enter the service, and giving them the wisdom that you might not have had or Gibby might not have had, and entering in with down the road in mind, because that's not something that young people are always thinking of. That's an incredible point. You're just so amazing. And I know that we're going to talk more about your YouTube channel as we go on. But before we get any further, I did want to ask you about your LP collection, because you brought that up and we want to hear about it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Yeah, actually, I seen some guys who were way outdo me on this, but I've always grew up loving music, whether it was rock and roll, R&B, a lot of R&B, whether it was old school, some of the Sly Family Stone, and those cats, and even like I got even Adele in my collection.
Cool.
Yeah, some old cats like the Commodores before Lionel Richie left.
Right on.
Yeah, and so
I mean, that's the stuff we grow up with. You know?
right.
We're
Yeah,
a little bit longer in the tooth. Yeah.
There you go. And just to hear quality sound,
Yeah.
from a quality, because the reason why LPs are it for me. I mean, I do like the modern technology. You can put everything on a flash drive, which is cool because if you're on a plane or you're going on vacation, you can't take all the LPs and a turntable with you.
Not too many.
so I thank God for those. But a chip can go wrong and it can erase your whole thing on USB, whereas on an LP, put the needle down and you got it cooking right there. I have two reel-to-reels as well, two reel-to-reels. I'm waiting for my cassette deck to come in. So, but yeah, the LPs, I do love them. I listen.
How many?
I would say maybe two. What do you say, about 150 maybe.
That's impressive. Very cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and that's and I just can't wait you remember back in the old school when they had those big coffins, right? And you had the TV, the turntable, and all that in there. I wanted a modern day one, so that I can put my TV.
Right on.
Right.
So cool. Yeah, totally. Dave, we have a record player in my home, and we have a small collection of vinyls, and my 2-year-old knows how to put on what he wants and put that needle on, and he knows where the songs are that he wants to go, so he can drop it exactly where he wants, and that's the kind of slow life that I want. Yeah.
There you go. That's genius.
I mean, isn't it cool though when it starts turning and you can hear that going around, and then and then you put it down, it starts out, and then the music pops on. And their music, they have a little bit of all of it that goes back into the 70s as well, but of course they got the music that the kids love, but they love the 70s music just as much as, and it is brilliant listening to them. But the crackle and the pop, so many people will never get to experience that.
So Dave, tell us about, I want to hear about this, and I haven't told Gibby what your answer was. So you mentioned a live performance that you saw that left a big impression on you. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. When I was in high school, actually we were living in San Bernardino at the time, and it was like in the mid to late 70s. And they had this place, the Orange Show, the Pavilion. So many concerts that come down there. We've seen Prince, The Time, Parliament, who else? Shaka Khan, Brother Johnson. But one that blew me away. We saw Earth, Wind, and Fire at the Forum.
Yay!
Oh, right. Yes, that was that
so
was
good.
That was it was really, and that's when all the band was together, and that's when the Forum was still. And they did an electric show. They flung down like a ball. It was like, and that's when the song "Let's Groove" came out. And the whole place lit up. And that, when you see and that's one thing I would say, see how a bunch of audience participation and all that energy, right? And it's that was just like, wow. And now that the band, most of the guys who dispersed passed away and all that.
Yeah.
But got to experience that, and out of all the bands that I experienced, great.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Hey, can I ask just a couple questions from your past? First of all, your military, and you were hopping. That is not a light schedule, and that can be good or bad. I prefer that type. When I was in, I hopped around, I guess a little bit as well, but a little bit more stable. We traveled a lot though. But back to the training, how many classes of recruits did you push?
Oh, I did. Let me see, about 100
Wow.
through there, and one was and it
And
happened.
100 is like, that's 8 weeks, correct?
That was what we did before that. That was 8 weeks. I did those guys. I did it in 8 weeks. It was 90 in 8 weeks. Actually, it was supposed to just be 30. And this is real talk. Not only did people watch too much TV, we had a couple of drill instructors who got pretty loosey goosey with the rules.
Yeah.
And so they got abruptly dismissed. Unfortunately, it was like we had 2.5 more weeks left in this cycle. I already had 30, and it was supposed to be 3 drill sergeants. We had per 30. You can do a night shift and you can do a day shift.
Right.
I used to run in high school. I lettered in track. I lettered in cross country. I sucked at track. I couldn't run 100 yards. And you can cook an egg and then I'll make it, right? I ran cross country because at least I got to think about what's happening here. Some of the drill sergeants were taking this for granted. They were on. We did what MATC was every 2 weeks. You would have drill instructors come in, and they were reserves. I was a continuity drill instructor, so I had to make sure all this information is handed to these drills who are coming on, because we don't want these drills to treat these kids like they're in week 1 when they're in week 5, right?
Sure.
And so some of them would come in, and some of these reservist drills, bless their hearts, would come in and be hyped off of these TV stuff. So a few of them got really checked hard. So when they got checked, I had 30 by myself, and the other platoon got checked, so I had to take his 30 for 2.5 weeks. The other platoon got checked. I had to take his platoon for 2.5 weeks. I was doing 90 kids, and so that meant I had to get up at 3:00 in the morning, right? I had to roll through, and when the lights are out, the bugs come crawling. The lights are out, these privates start getting into things, so I have to hang out for 30 to 40 minutes after the lights are out to make sure. And they knew it. You got 30 kids and just one me, so they knew it. But it was interesting pushing those I call them my kids because, they were 18, 19 years old. And this is right before Desert Storm and Desert Shield started coming out. So I had no time to play with these kids. I had to tell them straight. I looked after them. I didn't do things just because I can do them. When I had to chastise a soldier for doing something wrong, it came with education. I didn't go through their lockers, and when they left it open, I didn't throw everything out. No.
Yeah.
I'd take a piece of their equipment. I'd bring it down to my office. I'd take it apart, put it on the table, call him down. I call his section leader down, call his platoon leader down. How come these lockers weren't checked? This is going up the chain of command. How come these lockers weren't checked? I checked them first. I kicked them out. I bring him in. I give him his flashlight that I took apart. I say, you got 30 seconds to put it back together. No, he can't do that. It's impossible.
It's impossible. I love those.
Yeah. Call him in there. He doesn't have it. I put him down in a push-up position. I take it all apart again. Did this 3 times. 3rd time I sit there and I told him, I want to see you put it together. Anybody had a problem with fixing a flashlight? Go get it with him. He's mastered this now, right? Yeah. Now he's stoked now. These guys are asking me for help, right? It went like that. I had a guy. He was a young kid. I went down and I pulled his bed back, and he had all these Band-Aids and sand in it, because they get new boots and they're tearing their feet up with these new boots, new shoes, right? And so I had to put him in charge of the broom closet. Oh, he was so proud of that. He wanted to quit. I told him, you're not quitting. I said, the only way you quit with me is you go to jail first. Right? And so I had to put him in charge of the broom closet. Oh, he was so proud of that. He was so proud of that. He wanted to quit. I told him, you're not quitting. I said, the only way you quit with me is you go to jail first. He looked at me like he's crazy. He might just do it. Because I did some stuff like it. I'll tell you this, and probably some of you guys listen to it. I tell them, because as a drill instructor, you have to sign out for the whole beds, everything. You're responsible for it. Mm-hmm. So I took him into the bathroom, and I went and got my hair cut like a Marine. They call it jarhead. I put hair follicles in the trough, the urinal trough, right? And so I went into it. I said, look, this is my bathroom, and you guys are my guests. I ran my hand along the bottom of that urinal trough. I pulled up. I said, you see these hairs? If I ever see these hairs in my they were looking at me like, oh, he's stupid.
He's crazy.
Another one I did, just to let the cat out of the bag, I went over to they had a can that they call bullcrap spray. You can spray it. It smells like crap.
Yeah.
So I sprayed it in the stall, and it's lingering in the stall. And so what I did was put a chocolate from a sneaker bar underneath the rim.
Oh my gosh.
I walked in and I ran my hand. I said, oh, hell no. I said, this? No. They said, oh, dude, this guy's crazy.
That's good.
So it was just, then they knew after a while, they got to know me. No, he's just funny. But it was, you have to keep them focused and let them know it's serious, but you are still a human being. You have to laugh. You have to learn. And so it was never, because I had authority, I'm going to do this. No, it's never come to that. I've been in positions. I worked with the Department of Defense, being a nuclear security officer. This is way back in the day. And, you had authority, but, life is too short to be going through the crazy stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
That's my basic training story for you. So now everybody knows.
That's good.
Dave,
you and gave me two peas in a pod.
So lucky to have somebody like you, because you're the face of what they're going to become.
Thank you.
And if they see the ding dongs, and we've seen those guys that are working next to you, and like, don't emulate that guy. That's not what you need to do. Is be the best of you.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they were lucky to have you.
I was blessed to have them, and thank you for saying that. I appreciate it.
But let's rewind a minute, and we want to hear a little bit more about your track and field venture, because you wrote that down as Dave wrote this down as a time he failed at something but ended up gaining much more.
So track and field, I would tell you. First, it was really interesting because this was I went to a school called Pacific High in San Bernardino. They started. I was part of the busing. I lived in a predominantly white area. But they started a busing thing, and they started bringing all people of color into a predominantly white school. At that time, these cats I know they were fast at doing 100 hurdles. They were great. Me? No. Even my coach, he says, his name was Coach Fard. I tell you about him. He goes, hey, Jevis, come here. Go in there and want you to run those hurdles. I'm like, really? I'm like, really? And then I had some guy in the stand point at me like, I'm betting on you. I'm like, no, don't do this. Oh God. It was like I got up to the hurdle, and you know how you stop and then contemplate it and then jump over it? No, you know how you're supposed to glide over it? Not me. All right.
Oh my gosh.
I would have been better running around, and I probably was still lost. So, Coach Farr had this cross country team. And I said, okay, we get to run like 3 miles, and this gives you, and it brings you to mind, body, and let's say mind, body, your muscle, your mind, and your how you do your body, and how you rest, and how you eat. Because within a mile, I first started off, I was sucking air like a Hoover vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
I was, oh God. And so I kept going, and my Coach Farr, he kept encouraging me. And I was not the best on the team, but he kept encouraging me, and I kept running. And he says, I'm going to give you a letter. And so he gave me my letter. He says, because you keep trying. He says, you keep going. Now, I won a few races, but he says, you keep going. And he says, every time I asked you, you never said no, whether you could do it or not. And so he gave me a letter for that. And I asked, say, rest in paradise. Him and his wife passed away to a car accident. This is way back in, I want to say in 80. So that kept me going. And I would tell you what was really so fortunate about it is when I went to the military and you had to do the PT test, physical training test. I already ran. We're doing push-ups. And so I always aced the PT test. And that failure, but through that motivation of my coach, and he's my Caucasian brother coach, he was beautiful at talking with me and helping with me and keep me motivated to keep moving forward. So that's what I do for when I did with my kids in the military.
Yeah. Wow.
So that was it came
Great
through hard work,
too.
but benefited. Yeah, it was worth it.
Yeah, that's a good story. And you took that, you were able to apply that to your life and then pass it on to other people. So it's like his legacy has continued on. And think about how many of your kids that you've impacted who have passed that on to more kids. I mean, it's still probably being passed on now.
Man, thank you for saying it. I lose it sometime, but thinking about, these kids, but thank you.
So Dave, tell us, what is a positive lesson you learned from a past teacher that you still remember? Which we just heard one, but please, another one.
And another one, and this came in kind of like, I used to like to draw when I was younger. I used to draw album covers. But then
cool.
I ran into this, where you have electives when you're in school, high school, you have an elective class you can take. So I said, well, you know what, let me take this drafting class, And so I went to this drafting class, and the teacher, he would explain, take this item, flip it this way, and then draw it, right? And honestly, I couldn't visualize it. So I just walk down the aisle and I go, oh, okay, that's how you do it. cheating off it. Yep. I'm sharpening my pencil going, yeah, okay. All right.
So cheating off a drawing.
So I would go back. To my table. I'd draw it up. And he would send me my grade on it. And I was getting B's, on the B plus, and I was like, okay, wow. Now, I lived in this predominantly area called Del Rosa, in California, and we lived at the foothills of Big Bear Mountain, and he lived on a little bit step above the mountain, or above the way there. And he said this. He says, "What are you doing this summer?" I said, "Don't have any plans yet." He said, "How would you like to come and work for me?" And that was going up to his house. He was only like a 2 or 4 minute bike ride. And we go up and do his garden, his lawn. And he would give us money give me and my partner money for it. And later on, my parents were oblivious to this. He had some people from the University of Michigan come to my parents' house, and they had offered, we want him to come to this program. And they said how much the program is. And my parents were oblivious to it. And they passed on it, right? So what this gentleman did after I looked at it was he saw something in me. And he was a Caucasian man. And I much praises to him. I love him for what he did. But we know that in the summertime, when kids do not have something to do, they mostly get into mischief sometime. His thing was, I'm going to give you a job. Come up here. I'll pay you this money. Keep me out of trouble, right? He giving me credit for what I was drawing. And so he saw something in me that I didn't see, but hindsight, this man was doing everything he could to help me move to that level. And
wow.
I had to appreciate that.
Man, it sounds like you had a lot of people interject just little points in your life. And the one thing is you could take them for granted and not, overlook them and forget about it. But you keep bringing them up. So you obviously do not take these little moments for granted.
Well, I think that's the thing is a lot of people have given you opportunities and you're singing their praises, but you're the one who took the opportunities. So that's pretty incredible.
Thank you. Yeah. All kids get a good mentor. Yeah.
Well, that's super important. Yeah.
Yes.
So Dave, what is something you learned from another person that you had a completely different background from?
Oh, wow. In the military, you get people from all walks of life. When I went into the military, a lot of people from the West Coast weren't really going into the military, the Army. A lot of people I found from the East Coast and down South were coming to the military. Yeah. And so it was just interesting. I met one guy. His families were butchers, and that's what he did. And he says, "Dave, you know what cottage cheese come from?" I go, "Man, don't start with me, okay? I don't care, okay? I'm enjoying this right now, okay? Leave me alone." And it was interesting learning from him. Then I met this one really kind of oddball guy. He was from a Caucasian cat from Hawaii. Was good at navigation, knew everything about navigation, but nobody liked him. And it was interesting, yeah, because this dude, I want to say this. On the weekend, he would drink his beer and have his beanie weenies, and that's just his thing. And people are like, "You want to come out?" "No, I'm okay, I'm fine." And he's in there studying maps left and right. So I learned some map stuff from him. Another guy who was from Washington, D.C., he was at the time, he was a break dancer and a rap and a mixer. I never knew. Yeah. People from all kind of walks of life, right? Yeah. I was like, God bless, I never knew this. And so he was telling me how to catch beats and how to break beats and everything. Because back in the day, you start scratching on your mother's turntable, you boy, tearing up my needle. But
I think that's still the case now, but maybe not as much.
And I had a Filipino company leader, our battery leader, very nice guy, very interesting. And his style of leadership was, he would come down to see what's going on out in the field. And he's getting in trouble. He said, "No, look, I got to make sure." He goes, "You got people out there." And that motivated us, hey, this guy's out here, he would come by on details when we were down in the motor pool having detail at night, and him and his wife would bring us food, so really nice time. So those things you can have the power, but it's how you utilize it, right?
Yeah. And they can tell when you care.
Yes.
That's the big one. You know what, Lex?
What?
I think we're going to have to turn Dave's episode into two-parter.
Let's do it.
All right.
See you next week.
That's another episode of Porch Swing People.
Porch Swing People, out.
Porch Swing People is recorded and produced by Lex and Gibby. Opening music was written and produced by Michael Gibson. Porch Swing People is a podcast featuring everyday people. If interested in being a guest, email us at porchswingpeeps@gmail.com.